This one is for all my incredible, capable, intelligent, high-achieving women out there. Listen closely. Only you know what is best for you. Hello. Welcome back to the Business of Happiness podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Tarryn MacCarthy, and this episode is hitting very close to my heart. And this episode is literally only for those incredible women, and you know who you are, who love deeply, who care enormously, who are extremely capable, who can make you know what happen. I'm talking to you because I want to remind you today that only you know what's best for you. There is no guru, there is no person out there who knows better for you than you do. And maybe your whole life you've been operating knowing or thinking that other people know better than you do. And please know that you're not alone. This is how we were raised. This is how our education system has been set up. Going through medical and dental school, of course, everyone told you didn't know what you were talking about. There was always someone higher than you. There was always a professor, an upperclassman, a resident who knew more than you did. And then when you got out into the real world, there were all these other more accomplished, and I have quotation marks around that, more accomplished men and women who had been in practice longer, who quote unquote knew more than you did. But guess what? No one knows you better than you do. No one knows what's best for you. And that's where the difference lies. Sometimes we wake up and we realize, oh, wait a minute. I've been living this life based on what other people thought were best for me. Wait a minute. I've been deferring to everyone else. You know, it's so interesting. About 7 years ago, when my business partner and I started our orthodontic practice here in Maine, we were looking at what modalities we were going to use to move teeth. We both loved braces, metal wires and brackets, and loved aligners, clear aligners. And one thing I knew was the best way to get the best outcome for my patients when they're 2 years in treatment is when I have the patient invested in the treatment. And what's so interesting about orthodontics is many times we have teenagers whose parents are making the decisions for them. But when I can get the kid on board with the treatment, that's when the outcome is the best, right? When I can speak to that part of them that says, what is best for you? Do you know what's best for you? And can we be on the same page about that? Then I know we're going to have a spectacular outcome. So what we chose as our business model was to take the finances off the table. So we made braces and clear aligners the same cost. And of course, there are some cases where one is necessitated over another. And I'm not talking about those unique cases right now. I'm talking about the majority of our cases where we just were aligning teeth, straightening teeth, crooked teeth, or teeth that had spaces, just putting them in the right place. And really, braces or aligners could do it for us. And giving our patients the option, you get to choose. And what's the point of the story here is not that when we choose, when we get in alignment with what we want, we ask for what we want, and then we take action on what we want, that's the best outcome because that's the point. That's not what I'm saying here. What I want to reflect on is the kids knew what they wanted all along the way. Guess who didn't? The adults. The adults were the ones who would say, I can't decide. Tell me what's best for me. I can't decide which one's cheaper. And then they would defer to the price difference. And when we took the difference in the fee off, it was really stumping them. Well, which one goes faster? Like they were literally looking for any reason to choose. Tell me what's best for me. Isn't that interesting? And I ask you to use that little metaphor, that story reflected from my experience as an orthodontist in your own life. How often have you deferred getting clear on what's best for you to the opinions of others. Maybe it's been in your choice of your career path. Maybe you would never even have chosen medicine or dentistry if it was up to you. I was having this conversation with a dear friend of mine the other day, and he said, you know what? I don't think I would have done this. I'm happy right now. I'm doing well. I'm very happy, but I really wanted to sculpt. And everyone told me I could never make a career from sculpting. I wouldn't make enough money. And all my teachers said I was the best sculptor and that I could really do well. But my parents kept telling me, you'll never make a life for yourself in sculpting. And so I went with the next best thing, sculpting people's faces. Well, there you go. But I don't know if I would have done that if I'd listened to what was really important to me. Maybe that's reminding you of a story in your own life. Or maybe it's something more recent where you've said yes to a job that really you wish you didn't work 4 days a week. You really would love to work 3 days a week, but you're just saying yes to that fourth because that's what they're telling you is best. Or because that's what you think is best, is what dentists or doctors look like. We work 4 or 5 days a week. But in your heart, you know, if I just worked 2 days a week, man, I'd be so happy because that would fuel me in those days in this career that I love. But on the other days, I could really do this other thing that I'm so passionate about. Maybe it's sailing. Maybe it's writing a book. Maybe it's teaching. What decisions and choices have you made in your life that were not in alignment with what you actually wanted, with what was actually best for you? And, you know, I'm going to bring up here a phrase that we often hear ourselves say. Do you ask for what you need? And I'm going to change that phrase just a little bit to say, do you ask for what you want? And the reason why is because when we say you deserve to ask for what you need, there's a little sensation of desperation in saying, this is what I need. Like, I got to get to such a point where I really need before I'll ask. I remember this in my first practice. Now we're talking 20 years ago, when I was miserable. I was so unhappy. I owned the practice. I had these words, these phrases that I remember hearing myself say, like, I've built a treadmill I can't get off of. I was so unhappy. I was going from one consultant to the next, asking them for, what do I do? How do I make this better? I was visiting, marriage counselors. I mean, my whole life felt like it was falling apart. And I kept saying, I wish someone would tell me what the best thing to do is. And then I remember hearing myself say, well, if I had 3 kids at the time, I had 2. If I had 3 kids, then I'd need to sell this practice because I couldn't do it all. And guess what? I got pregnant with a 3rd. When we hear ourselves say need, we sometimes push ourselves to desperation's point before we're willing to ask for what we want. Do we need to get ourselves down to the bottom of the barrel, to fall on our knees before we take action on what we want? Does that have to happen? I don't believe so. I think we can get quiet with ourselves and start to listen to what we want before we get to the place of desperation, before something breaks down, before we go to that funeral and realize, oh my gosh, life is short and I am not doing what I want in this life. Or maybe it's I'm not in the relationship that I want to be in this life. Or maybe it's I'm not in the friend group. I haven't found the women in my life that fuel me the way that I want. I want to feel praised and uplifted and supported and celebrated. I don't want to feel worse about myself every time I see my friends. You know what's best for you, and only you know what's best for you. How do we get there when we've been practicing decades and decades of doing what we think other people want us to do or listening to other people tell us what's best for ourselves? The step 1 is getting quiet with yourself. And I don't mean just for 2 weeks once a year. I mean every single day, finding time to get quiet with yourself, to block out the noise, to block out the to-dos, and listen to what your heart is saying. You know, it's so funny because we tell ourselves, I don't have enough time. I hear that all the time. I don't have enough time, Tarryn, every day. Are you kidding me? Every day to find time for quiet for myself? It seems so outrageous. But we brush our teeth twice a day for ourselves, for no one else. Why is that acceptable? Why can you not find 4 minutes of quiet for yourself on your ride home? I personally think that's one of the best times because it's also a great transition time between work and getting home. Or first thing in the morning before you jump out of bed and fly into the gym to do your plank, your 7-minute plank, and fly through the day and starting yourself in anxiety and stress mode. Why not take 15 minutes first thing in the morning and sit quietly with yourself and ask yourself, what do I want? And maybe if it's been out of practice for decades, if you've never asked yourself what you want, it starts really small. What do I want to feel today? What do I want to eat today? What do I want to experience today? And then take a look at your life and ask yourself, is what I am living in alignment with what I want? And that takes courage because sometimes it isn't. But here's the great news is you can't get it wrong. Because even if you're not in alignment with what you want, you get to choose again. And that's where we get to ask for what we want. That's the next strength in our personal development is learning, oh my gosh, now I know what I want. And number 2, now I get to ask for it. Not just of other people, but of myself. And then give yourself permission to receive it, to take action on it and to receive it. Not because you need to, because you're at that point where you just physically can't cope anymore. And now you absolutely must ask for help, but simply because you want it. I'm asking you, please, can you do this for me? I'm asking this of myself. Please, can you ask your boss XYZ, whatever that looks like for you? And, you know, I even hesitate to put examples in here because I don't want you ever to think that I know what's best for you because I don't. And that's really interesting about coaches, by the way. If you ever have a coach that says, I'm going to tell you what's best for you, this is what you do, even when it comes to business, run as fast as possible. Because only you know what's best for you, even business models. And this is where the best business models that succeed are the ones that are in alignment with what's best for you. Your business is your baby. Your business is your life. When I hear people saying, I'm looking for work-life balance, that's when they're out of alignment with what they want. Work-life blending happens easily and effortlessly when you get in touch with what you want, you have faith and trust in your own inner wisdom, and you have the courage to ask for and take action on those dreams. That's the magic. And if you're listening to this episode right now and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I can't believe when I'm listening to this, I'm seeing myself. Maybe for decades, you've never asked yourself what you want. You've just listened to what other people want from you, done what you think other people expect of you. Maybe that's become your ingrained pattern, your habit. I honor you for hearing this moment and allowing this moment to be your wake-up call, to not be willing to wait until you're on your knees of breakdown. When your body is so broken, because your body will say no for you when you can't. And hear that again. Our bodies say no when we don't. Every single time. And that's why we think it starts catching up with us in our 40s, 50s, right? 60s. When we say, oh, my body's breaking down on me. Is your body saying no because you haven't? And what do you need to say yes to instead? So if you're listening to this and you're recognizing yourself in this, and you're realizing 2023 is more than halfway through right now, and is this another year in your life that you don't take action on your dreams, on what you truly want? Whether that is to start your own practice, to do it your way, whether it is to leave medicine and dentistry altogether, to do it your way, whether it is to ask for your boss for an associateship that looks a little bit differently so that it can blend into your life in a way where suddenly everything feels effortless and free and expert. Whatever that looks like to you, have you realized, wait a minute, I'm going through another year of this beautiful short life. And as I've said before on this podcast, if there's more than one life, sign me up. I'm there. I would love to do this again in a new way, in a new body, in a new experience. Amazing. But for now, we don't know what else there is. All we know is this little life, this short little life is all I got. How can I not live it to my fullest? I've been gifted this beautiful body. I've been gifted this beautiful mind. I've been gifted this beautiful soul and heart that's calling for me, dreaming for me. Who am I not to take advantage of this moment in time and live my life to the fullest and take action on my dreams? I believe those dreams are our calling card for our purpose. And anytime we feel out of alignment, it's an opportunity for us to up-level and grow more. I believe that in my heart. And I ask you, how would your life look different if you allowed yourself to take action on what you know is best for you? How would you show up differently for your children if you knew you were taking action on what's best for you? How would you show up differently for your patients if you knew you were taking action on what's best for you? If you felt fully fueled and fulfilled because you were clear on your dreams, clear on your worthiness of taking action on them, and clear that no one else knows better than you do. How would you show up for your patients? I literally answer this question for me right now. How would you show up differently for the people in your world, for your significant other, for your parents? If we weren't looking for other people to make us feel better about ourselves, but we were fully taking action on feeling good for ourselves for the sake of knowing that only you know what's best for you. Oh, I get excited about it. All right, incredible women out there, I see you. I know you. And I know that when you do that, that's when you have bigger impact on the world around you. That's when you raise world leaders who are making positive change. That's where you create relationships and forgiveness and encouragement and support in the other women in your community. And you uplift the other women around you to take equal action for what's best for them. Because when we feel good, we do good. That's it. When you are in alignment with your own values, that's when you do great things in this world, not just for yourself and your small little family, your nucleus, but for the world around you. That's when you are a better leader. That's when you are a better boss. That's when you are a better daughter. That's when you are a better advocate in your community. So if you're listening to this and you're thinking, yeah, 2023, halfway through, I need to now take action, I'm inviting you to join me October 9th. We are doing a 9-week accelerator for you. This is for you. If this episode has spoken to you, Radical Happiness Boost, October 2nd, 9 weeks is for you. In those 9 weeks, we're going to go and discover what is that inner voice saying. How do we uncover the limiting beliefs that have held you back from taking action? What are those fears? What is the resistance? What is the idea in your head, the narrative, the story you're telling yourself that's holding you back from living your best life now. Not in 5 years' time, not I'll be happy when, I'll take action when my kids are older, I'll take action when they've graduated. We've been kicking that can down the road too far for too many years. If this is singing to you and you're thinking, you know what? I want to make sure that 2023 is the year I turn it around and I start listening to my inner wisdom and I start taking action on my dreams, whatever that looks like to you, then let's hop on a call and find out if this course is right for you. It starts October 2nd, but let's talk before then. Let's find out if this is going to be the way that you turn things around. So in the show notes, I'm going to leave a link on my calendar, to my calendar. Hop on a call with me. There's no commitment, just to chat, see if this is the right thing for you. But if there's been something burning inside of you that you know you've been wanting to take action on, but you've been sitting on for years, maybe decades, then this Radical Happiness Boost is when we're going to make it happen and set you free. So let's get on a call. You can also find me on www.thebizofhappiness.com or on Instagram, The Biz of Happiness, and go to my link tree and get on a call with me. Get in on my calendar and we can chat. Because we're going to welcome in a group of women only in this group. Community is everything. Support is everything. Learning how to collaborate and encourage and watch each other grow. It is so powerful, you guys. And it's the tribe that you've been looking for. Let's hop on a call and let's make 2023 magical. I'll see you there. And remember, when you feel good, that's when you can do good. Bye-bye.